Welcome back, folks, to the Mailwright Show. It's episode 152. I've got my co-host, Robert Newman. And
Howdy.
yes, I'm going to let them introduce themselves in a minute. And we've got a special guest, an old friend of the show, Heather Ann Havenwood. She's the sexy boss. And she's going to be discussing... Well, I'm going to let her do the introduction. Heather, would you like to do the introduction and what you're going to be discussing with our listeners and viewers today?
Well, I'm going to be talking about the concept of omnipresent and why being omnipresent, and no matter what business you're in, mortgage, real estate, and beyond, and why having that concept and strategy in your wheelhouse is so important for 2018 and beyond, to be able to sell oneself, promote oneself, and actually make more money in the process. So I'm going to talk about that concept. Let me ask you a question. What's the Facebook page that you guys are?
It's Mailwright USA.
Got it. Okay, cool.
And Robert, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to the listeners and viewers?
Sure, love to. So I am. My name is Robert Newman. I'm the founder of an inbound marketing company that focuses on real estate called Inbound Real Estate Marketing. Fancy that. And if you want to learn anything more about me, you can find me at inboundrem.com.
And great. And I am the founder of Mailwright. We're a specialized SaaS product that helps you get quality leads through marketing through Facebook. Right, Heather. So start off. How would you, if you were in real estate as a female in this?
Actually, just one second. I'm going to request, Heather, would you mind giving a slightly larger introduction to our audience about exactly who you are? Because I'm on your website, which is Sexy Boss Inc., or at least that's the website I have found. And would you mind, it looks like you're an entrepreneur that focuses on women entrepreneurship in general. Is that correct?
Well, that's my sexybossinc.com site is my book site. My book is called Sexy Boss, How the Empowerment of Women is Changing the Rulebook for Money, Success, and Sex. So that's my personal story of how I overcame bankruptcy, failure, completely loss of everything in 2005 and 6 and started from scratch. So that specific website is really geared towards my mission to empower women. However, what I am and what I do now is heatherhavenwood.com, which is my main site, Heather Havenwood. And my intention is to help any solo entrepreneur and brand to be able to take their business to the next level by being omnipresent. What does that mean? Getting more exposure. It doesn't always mean authority or expertise. It means exposure. How do you get that to that next level? One of the things that people come to me now on is how to basically launch their podcast. I've done over 400 guesting just like this. This is I've kind of lost number 398, 400 at this point. Mm-hmm. I started my podcast almost 2 years ago. I went from 0 to 65,000 downloads per. I'm on the national syndicated radio. I'm actually on traditional radio and podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, Roku. I'm sharing this with you because I'm starting to become more omnipresent. Why? Okay. Why would I do that? Is because the more exposure you're out there and in the space, social is one aspect of it. The more you're out there, the more people get to know you, like you, trust you, like you or not, because 51% of Howard Stern's listeners hate him. Your story. Okay. So how do you get to that level where you have haters? That is actually an intention you should have. If no one hates you, even in real estate, no one hates you, you got no position. You're just meh. You're like meh, melancholy, right? People who are leaders or influencers, there's someone that loves them and hates them. So the idea of being omnipresent and what I do with my clients is how do you get out there in such a way where you're taking a strong position and people love you or hate you?
Okay. So how do you do it? How would you do it if you were a real estate agent?
So real estate agents, it's interesting because I know right now we're what I call in a very good market. And I come from real estate. Back in 2001, traveled the country doing real estate seminars. And I come from the world of real estate. And I remember when I was living in Central Florida back then, there was these things called billboards. I remember seeing, the realtor's face, right? The big, whatever, Keller Williams thing going on or whatever it was at the time. I don't see that at all. It's almost like nowadays, realtors are not being taught to be in your face. They only in the magazine every now and then, like, oh, there's Ashley or whatever. The people that long-term made huge waves and long-term businesses as a realtor, like survived the 80s and then survived the crash. They're the ones that have their freaking face and business out there everywhere.
Okay.
And I remember literally, I'm going to show you this one story. I remember living in Austin. I moved here 6 years ago. And this is before the massive, ridiculous boom there is now. But it's always been very successful here. And I remember looking at this one particular magazine, and on the back cover and on another page, and then I saw her on a billboard, and I saw her everywhere. There was a woman, she was probably at the time late 50s, and I forgot her name. I was looking at her face though. I can name her face in a heartbeat. She was full page ads everywhere. And it wasn't the pages where it's like, here's all this amazing real estate, and then there's my picture in the right-hand side. No. Her page was a full page ad, and it was her face. And she's like, you want a business deal? You want real estate? You call me. I've been in this business for 25 years. She had like 15 people working underneath her. She had the team, she had a thing going on. Now she stopped those ads because her ass went into retirement. She's like, I'm done. I've done this for 30 years. I'm like, hanging out with margarita. But no one in the market, and we are in a really good market, has taken her place at that level in marketing. And I know she was hugely successful in Austin because her marketing was omnipresent in Austin.
Okay. So walk us through. You're brand new into real estate. You don't have.
I can't walk you through it. I just told you what. I mean, there's like, how do you get omnipresent? Are you on billboards? Yes or no. Are you in magazines? Yes or no. Are you in a newspaper? I know that's crazy, but people actually read newspaper. Yes or no. Are you online? Are you actually doing Facebook ads to people in your area, 15 miles around you? What are you doing? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you doing ads to people on your LinkedIn? What happens is real estate, people get in this really tiny world and they focus on the product. It's not the product. In real estate, you're not the product ever. You're an affiliate. You're a huge affiliate. You have no control of what inventory comes on or not. You have no control of what's happening in the marketplace and the Wall Street. You have no control of the mortgage rates. You have zero control of those markets. You have zero control. What do you have one control of? Your face and market it. That's the only control you have in real estate. The only control you have.
Let me rephrase my question. If you didn't already have an established marketing budget, would you personally have any suggestions for an agent with more of like a guerrilla marketing stance, willing to work hard, but not having the money yet? Would you have something to?
So there's all kinds of things, right? So let's start with guerrilla marketing 101. Okay.
Sure.
When you're out there starting a business, you either have a lot of money or a lot of time and energy. So we're talking in this scenario, you're saying, hey, this person has time and energy. That's a resource,
sure.
Right? They might not have 15 grand to put into marketing, but they got time, they got energy, they got a nice smile. That's a resource. So what can they do right now to guerrilla market? Great question. So let's just start with one. Okay. LinkedIn, basic.
Okay.
What actually is your LinkedIn strategy? Now, is it inundating people with their in-mail? I hope not. That's really annoying. I get that. I have like 18,000 followers on LinkedIn. I'm constantly inundated. And it's things like, how are you doing today? How can I help you? I'm like, I don't know how you can help me, right?
Sure.
So I don't know how you can help me. Here's one bit of a tactic you can use. Now, building your real estate, building your LinkedIn profile is really important. Okay. Being able to be out there as the person that is the authority, not the expert, the damn like drop boom authority in your area. Like, you know what's down. Are you actually posting that? Seriously, every day? Are you posting every day about something that's happening in your current marketplace? And doesn't it be real estate? It could be, hey, they're completely changing, like in Austin, it's constant politics and constantly changing roads. Hey, they're changing MOPAC. They're adding a whole new lane. That's going to affect, I think that's going to affect the real estate on the right-hand side of MOPAC's a freeway, by the way. So I'd like to have a guy or a girl real estate agent who I know is the one who has their hand on all that. I would go to their LinkedIn profile every day, number one. Number two, once you have 500, 1,000, I don't know, 1,500 people on your LinkedIn that are first connects, here's a little strategy you can do. Small, won't cost you a lot. You can download those names and emails. That's legal. You can upload those names and emails, legal, into this thing called, wait for it, Google. Okay? Google AdWords and Facebook ad. And now you're not trying to get them necessarily to buy a particular property. You're not selling a particular inventory. What you're trying to do is get them to know who you are.
Okay.
So you could do a rebranding ad where it's just you and your face, a good old freaking, ad. Hey, looking for real estate? Boom. And what you're doing is you're going, oh my God, I see Joanne everywhere. I mean, I know we're connected on LinkedIn, but I see her when I go to my Bank of America, and then I see her when I go to I see her everywhere. Oh, I'm looking for real estate. Boom, there it is. So learning to be omnipresent in today's marketplace is super critical.
Excellent. Okay, that's some good guerrilla marketing advice.
I think also the key thing that you said, Heather, is, and I also think a lot of agents suffer from this, is that they don't want to offend anybody. It seems counterintuitive, but I also totally agree with you, because if your branding or your personality, if it's not rejecting somebody, it's also not attracting anybody either. Got any other thoughts about that? Because I've said that to some agents and it's a very difficult concept. I found it a difficult concept to get across to them that if you're going to have a strong brand, it's going to attract, but also it's going to push away, isn't it?
Yeah. So I love this. This is a great question, Jonathan. It's so perfect, especially for women. Let's start with two things.
Exactly,
One,
yeah.
as female. Okay, it's female. We are taught at an extremely young age to be sweet and nice and loving and never upset anybody and always to love the teacher. And the guys in the back, there's always a guy in the back who's like, who's doing this or being like the funny guy and getting in trouble. Bad boy, bad boy. And the girls up there like, oh, look at me, I'm perfect, right? Okay, that's great. It works from kindergarten to 12th grade. It might even work in college. But when you're in the real world and you're in solo entrepreneurship, where again, let's look at realtor. You have zero control of your inventory. You have zero control of the price of your inventory. You have zero control of the amount of money, aka mortgage rates, to get the inventory and the restrictions. You are out of control. No control over that. None. So what do you have control of? You only have control of one freaking thing, and that's marketing yourself. Because everyone else is the same inventory, right? So if you're out there trying to sell to, there's also two levels, right? People who are trying to sell to people who are about to sell, buyers, whatever. I'm talking about getting your name out there for all of it. So what can you actually do? There's actually a guy here named Chris Waters. I don't even know his name, but you know how I know his name off the top of my head? He has radio ads all the freaking time. And he sounds like a 12-year-old. I love to meet him, but he literally sounds like a 12-year-old. But I know his name. Why? Because he's in my face so much. So the point is that pissing people off. Let's talk about that. Do people love and hate Howard Stern? Yes. People love and hate Hillary Clinton. Yes. People love and hate Kim Kardashian. Yes. People love and hate Trump. Yes. Okay. They don't get where they are by not only pissing people off, but also getting people to love them. It's inside of the distinction of being able to allow yourself to stand for something or not stand for something or have a particular view for something that will attract people or move away. For some reason, realtors are taught they have to be like the peacemaker. And I'm like, no, don't be the peacemaker. Be the one who's out there like, hey, this is the time to buy whatever. This is the time not to buy. Like actually make a point. This is the time to buy. This is the time to sell. Like actually be somebody who's actually making a point on the left or right, whatever that is. And have people disagree with you. Well, I don't agree with that. Great. Awesome. You disagree with that? Why? And actually learn to have that kind of debate publicly. What I find with realtors, because I have a couple of realtors that I talk to on a daily basis and real estate investors right now. In fact, right now, this house is being renovated and downstairs condos with investors. And I find it interesting that for some reason they kind of keep this, like they want to keep their information closed in, but the ones that kind of are willing to talk about what they know and what they're learning, right, are the ones that are going to attract the people. The thing is what I say not to do. Again, you have no control of the inventory. I always look through magazines and I look at the realtor ads. And every single time I see, wow, look at that. There's one realtor that has a whole full page ad of all these houses. I get that. She's trying to sell her inventory. That makes sense. But I prefer to see if she's a person that I would just reach out to in general, for maybe I'm looking for something that's not on that list. Okay. And I don't, because she's saying, hey, this is my inventory. If you don't like it, if it's not in your price range, then you're out. That's kind of what she's saying to me. And then you have the picture of the real estate team where there's like 20 of them and they're all like, doing this. Again, I get it. But what is that selling really? What are you selling with that? There's a team of you guys. So the question I have is, what are you actually selling at the moment? I, again, go back to the guerrilla tactic is building relationships, being the one that has the expertise, being the one that actually the authority in your, not only in your industry,
right,
in your area.
And I'm gonna take this one step further.
Before we go there, Robert, we need to go for our.
I'm always the guy you cut off, man.
Yeah, terrible, isn't it? Shocking, Robert. How you part with me? I just don't know. You need to go back to Chile, really. There we go.
There we go.
There we are. But we're going to go for our break, folks, and we're going to come back. And Heather's got some great insights, and I'm really enjoying the discussion. We'll be back in a few moments, folks. We're coming back. Yes, you need to upset some clients to get those really great clients. So, Robert, you had a question before. I rudely interrupted, Robert. So off you go.
Right. So I'm going to say this. I'm just going to say that to tackle the other part of Heather. So yes, I agree 100%. Yeah. The way I'm hearing what she's saying is that you need to establish a personal brand and you need to be able to put it out there. She's saying don't be afraid to piss somebody off when you're establishing the brand. And how I relate to that myself is that I make no bones about the fact that like I'm goth and that I run an online marketing agency. I tell my clients clearly when I'm leaving the country and that I'm looking at street art, that, I am who I am. And I have no problem building that into my branding message. I also happen to be really passionate about SEO. But here's the other thing I want to add. I think that today, if you want to be a guerrilla marketer, I get that question too. I get that question all the time. It's easier now than it ever has been before, ever in history, because we have so many mediums that we can establish our voice on. We can do it on video. Instagram just did IGTV that you talked about last week. The YouTube has YouTube Live now. Facebook has Facebook Live. And that's not even counting the fact that we can do a traditional video, simply record it and then upload it to most of these services and just leave it there for people to review at their leisure. So there's so many different ways to establish a voice. And if you have a voice, you can then take that audience and direct them someplace else. And that, of course, is marketing. So that's the only thing I would add to what she's saying is that it's really easy to do that as a real estate agent if you wanted to.
Oh, that's great. Let's go back to Heather. So Heather, last week I went on a bit of a techno binge about Instagram. And I think I managed to lose most of our listeners because I went deep, Heather. As you're not probably that surprised, actually, Heather. Can you save me? Because I did get some emails saying that I managed to lose almost all the audience about in the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
Have you been experimenting with Instagram?
I have, yeah. Thanks for asking that, Jonathan. I'm not surprised you went on a rant.
It wasn't a rant. It was just I was just trying to give as much information as possible, Heather.
Well, I agree. I'll probably go back and listen to it. I'm going to probably learn something from you. I personally have been looking, of course, at Instagram. I'm an early adopter. I was on IGTV the day it came out.
I thought you were.
I'm an early adopter. That's who I've had a Twitter account since like 04 or 05. I've had Facebook since 05 or 05, something ridiculous. I'm an early adopter kind of gal. So that's just who I am. I was on Blab. That's where you and I met. So I'm that kind of gal. But let's talk about any of the social mediums. let's just talk about any of them on a strategy level. Okay. Twitter, Facebook, IGTV, Instagram. What's missing with people who really want to be out there is constant content. They're not doing it at the level that needs to happen. So let's go back to old school marketing, like Ogilvy stuff, which is the basic line where we are dealing with human beings. The more you're in front of a human being, the more they'll remember who you are. Chris Waters, I swear, I didn't even met this guy. Chris Waters, the Waters. I mean, I can name his like tagline. He is constantly in my ear.
Yeah,
and
I'm just going to interrupt. What he has managed, Heather, he has fenced off a bit of your psyche, hasn't he?
He has. He has. No, he has. But then there's another guy that I ran across. He's a realtor recently. And him and I could talk forever. What I love about him, but he's not marketing it. So I'm giving him, but he'll probably never listen to this, so it's fine. What I love about him is I live in a specific area in Austin. It's one of the top zip codes. It's like a 90210 of Austin. It's called 78704. It's like the place to be. But there's all kinds of nuances happening in this marketplace right now. There's political stuff happening. They're reconstructing the entire, they call it Code Next. They're reconstructing the entire way they're building. They're putting new constrictions on building codes. It's a big political thing going on in Austin. They're redoing a bunch of the property lines. There's some serious changes. Now, look, I kind of keep my ear on it because I listen to talk radio like in between stuff, but my ear is not on it. I don't have the time. I don't have the space. But he does, and he is on top of it. He's like, okay, this builder's doing this, and this builder's doing this, and here's what's happening. This road's changing, so what's going to happen? Like, he knows what's happening. That's the kind of stuff, that's the kind of person that if I want to be building in this area for flipping, I'm going to talk to him. And I've already talked about that. I'm like, what's the strategy right now? He's like, the strategy right now in this area is you buy a piece of crap, you build $1 million house, and you flip it. Like, that's the deal. And here's why, and here's implications. And he's like, give me this whole strategy. And I'm like, wow, I never even thought about that. And he's like, yeah, here's why. And I just was like, oh, thanks. And he gave me the reason why based on what's happening in my market in this very, very isolated area. That particular strategy won't work in West Austin. See, that's the kind of guy that I'm like, I'm going to call him, right? He's like, I got builders on speed dial. Let me know when you're ready. Like, I'll know that I got architects ready for you. I gotcha. I have someone who can get through things in city council. Call me. Okay. Like, he's the guy that when I'm ready to and I've already sent him a property. Like, hey, what do you think of this one? Here's why it's not going to work. I mean, he knows what I want, and we've barely had 3 or 4 conversations, but he's not marketing at that level. Here's a negative. He should be on LinkedIn at least, or on Facebook every day talking about it, and not giving away data like for the other realtors to pick up on, but to be the one to say, here, I just talked to a builder. Here's what he said, not naming source. Hey, I just talked to a city council person, and here's what's happening, and here's what the strategy is to help you on your real estate. Who's going to be the person they contact in this area? He's also owner in this area. He's also a builder himself in this area. But I'm not in the industry. I happen to run into him on a really weird basis. But why is he not out there every single day talking about this nonstop? Beats me. But he didn't ask me for marketing.
But which you can do on Instagram through video.
Yeah, sorry. Go back to Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram TV is a perfect way. What I'm learning about Instagram TV, it's consistency. Doing 5 or 10 videos on Instagram TV every day is not weird. That's not weird. So it used to be weird. It's not weird because you're doing this. Every single one, Tony Robbins, Frank Kern, Brendon Burchard, these are big names. They're doing this. So, hey, here's like the latest. That's what a realtor can do. Hey, I just talked to a city council person or someone that knows somebody. Here's what's happening. Blah, 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 blah. Check it out. Be done. You have to put your makeup on. You can be in like your hair cap, whatever. Just got done with working out, whatever. You want to be the person that's got the ear on the ground with what's happening in that local area. Because as I've gotten older, and with you, Jonathan, with your help and Conrad's help, I've learned to get into politics. I've learned that getting into local politics makes a big difference in real estate. So be that person to be the voice, not to have a particular view on the politics, because that's a politician, but to be able to be the voice, like, let me tell you what's happening. And then this is the angle from a real estate perspective.
Exactly. So many agents would be terrified with that, but I totally agree with you. I just got another kind of, it's linked, is especially on the female side of things. I was seeking your advice. I think a lot of, and I think you touched it, and then we went into Instagram.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it was my fault. It was my fault. I asked you a direct question and you've answered it. But I think you were touching something that's really interesting as well, Heather, is I think it's a little bit easier, this branding yourself, being out there, and you touched it as a man. I think I sense it's a little bit more difficult if you're a female. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
If yes, have you got any advice about maybe positioning yourself if you're a female real estate agent in the right way?
Okay, so let me break that down in two sections. Okay, so you're absolutely right, Jonathan. But let's kind of lay the landscape. All right, and I talk in analogies, as you probably know. So last night I'm listening to some YouTube music, random, just music. And every single time it goes to the next song, it goes to a new video, right? And every single time I did that, it would create a new commercial you had to skip through. And almost every single one of the commercials was some guy, and I'm not against them, by the way, but it was some dude, and it was a different dude every time doing this. Hey, man, do you want freedom in your life? You need to start an internet marketing business. I started an internet marketing business, and now my life is amazing. And you should let it, and we click, right, skip ad. And it was like 10 of these. And I thought to myself, not one chick.
Yeah.
Not random chick. Why? Okay, well, let's talk about who are the big names in influencing that women see. I'm not saying they agree with. Kim Kardashian, the Kardashians. I mean, they're ridiculous. But let's look at them. The girl has a full-time hairstylist and makeup. Okay? I put makeup on for this. I thought about my hair. Men don't. They do not give a poop what they look like. And women have a view that their beauty is an asset, which it is. Mm-hmm. However, you also have to get your message out, and you've got to let that shit go when you're on. No one looks good doing this. What's up, man? What's going? I don't care who you are. No one looks good, but it's okay socially to look like shit, excuse my language, and be a man and be successful. Mark Zuckerberg. It is not okay in society to look like shit and make a lot of money as a woman. Oprah, she still looks amazing. Kim Kardashian still looks amazing. Hillary Clinton, she still has her people, right? So even though you know how I think about Hillary. Anyway, the point is that women are taught, A, don't self-promote yourself. That's rude. 1. 2, they see men being aggressive and it turns them off. It scares them.
Exactly.
Okay? It scares them. It freaks them out. Do I have to be that assertive? Do I be that? And then there's people out there in our world.
Can I just interrupt slightly? Is there a way? Because I have dealt with some managers, and you look at a kind of archetypal figure like Margaret Thatcher. They become kind of harder than the hardest male manager. They deal with the reality of their situation by becoming, my observation, they feel, I might be totally wrong, this is why I'm asking this question, Heather. I sense that they overcome sexism or barriers by becoming the toughest manager or the toughest individual than even the men, if you understand what the point I'm trying to make. Is there a middle ground, Heather, where you can still be, not this loving, always giving up? There's a reasonable level of assertiveness without becoming this kind of stereotype.
Yeah, there completely is. I call that being a sexy boss, right? That's what I call that. I think with Margaret Thatcher, even Hillary Clinton, she's become so masculine in her communication. I think that was her timing of life, is that was the only leader she has. I think things have shifted. So kind of going to your point, like right now in our space, guru space, I don't even call it. We have people like Allie Brown, Marie TV. Great ladies, nothing against their content. They're amazing. But let's look at what every time they're on camera, full makeup, freaking hair stylist. Okay, so look, that shit ain't reality. Because what am I doing right now? I am literally in my office and, I did take a shower. But still, who knows if I did or not. The point is that women have to get over that. I did a competition for myself. I actually went to this little competition privately at the beginning of the year. I did 90 videos in 90 days, and you had to do one a day by midnight. And if you didn't, you're kind of out. It was a little group. We put some money in just to kind of make it like fun. It was only like $100, but still it was money. And it forced me to go, hi, I have no makeup on, and I'm going to do this stupid video about some content that I'm going to tell you about over my 20 years experience online. But yeah, I'm all in my head about what I look like to you right now versus just being with the camera and just giving the content. I think there's something to be said for that. And my encouragement is any woman, realtor, whatever, please, 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 please get over it and just focus on what you're giving, which is content information of what people want. Get over it. Just get over it.
That's great, Heather. We're going to wrap up the podcast and part of the show, folks. Heather, how can people get hold of you and learn more about what you're up to and what you're about, Heather?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys. You guys were a ton of fun, by the way.
Thank you, Heather. Always fun to have you on the show.
Yeah. I have no personality whatsoever, but I try.
No,
so go to heatherhavenwood.com. If you're interested in working with me, you can go to callwithheather.com. Simple, get on a 15-minute call with me, have a conversation. I would love, 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 love to help you self-promote yourself and become omnipresent. No matter where you are in the United States, Canada, wherever, how do you get out there to a level that you can really self-promote yourself on a high level? I'd love to help you and be supportive of that and give you some strategy around that. Also, I actually help people launch people's podcasts, which is a great way to be omnipresent. So call me, let's do it, callwithheather.com. If you're interested in my chat bot, you can go to askheatherann.com, which is my personal chat bot, and I'm the one that answers it. So love for you to check that out as well. That's askheatherann.com. If you're interested in talking to me, it's callwithheather.com.
That's great, Heather. And Robert, how can people find out what you're up to and learn some more about you, Robert?
Inboundrem.com. My website speaks volumes about who I am and what I do. And if you're interested, go check it out.
Always got interesting stuff, and he's got some new content he's going to be publishing soon. If you want to, sorry, Robert.
Got new content up already, but go ahead.
Oh, great! If you want to find out more about what MailRight is about, and what I'm about, it's quite easy. Go to the MailRight website. We've got some great new features on our SaaS product. It will get you quality leads, and we use Facebook mostly to get those for you. If that sounds interesting, just go to the website and book a time to have a chat with me. We'll see you next week, where we'll be discussing somehow to make you a more effective real estate agent. We'll be back next week, folks. Bye.